All right, welcome to the Gratitude Podcast, where we connect you with tangible tools and professionals on how to live a joyful life and be happy now. My good friend Chris Aguilar is here. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you, Daniel. Thanks for having us here. Me and the team. It's been awesome to be here and just talking to you. Even before the podcast, we had some awesome conversations.
Yeah, 100%. So Chris is somebody that I look up to in my life. I think it was really powerful. I look at life in the 5F's: faith, family, fitness, finances, and fun. And it's really hard to find somebody who is stronger in each of these different areas. And Chris will be an author at the end of April, coming out with an amazing book called Just Maximize. He has a number of companies, but we'll limit it to 3 just for time purposes. But you can look up the rest. So he has his personal brand, the Chris Aguilar brand. He also has AH Construction, which I've never heard somebody give feedback that they get done ahead of schedule in construction. So definitely honor you there. Nothing but great things with that.
It's a team.
Yeah, exactly. As well as rock solid investments. So, and what Chris has done in a number of different areas is really powerful. And we'll go through a number of different dynamics, but let's start with mindset and your story. So, what I've seen is you have such a unique mindset. And you've also come from from small beginnings, right? What is the quote that you say that you
have so many rags to riches?
Yeah. That you invested in your first real estate project with no money down or something.
Oh, we're talking about the delayed gratification principle.
Yeah. So, Chris, how important do you think mindset is in really helping to fulfill the life that we want to live? And I want to create the connection here that Chris is strong in a number of different areas of life, and to really connect what he is doing in creating the life and really wealth in an area and impacting people's lives, to being happy and living a joyful life, but also living a life of purpose. Like, I've never met somebody who is more, actually I have a number of friends, but I will say that you are in the lane that you're supposed to run in with the people you're supposed to run in.
Wow.
All with the power of God, which is the definition of convergence. So, Chris, will you talk a little bit about your story and how your mindset has helped you get to where you are today?
I love how you use that. Well, Daniel, again, thank you for having us here. And I love how you use the word convergence. So convergence to us is when you understand the purpose for you in life here on earth and activating yourself, empowered by God to live the life that you were engineered to live in. So I believe I'm living in convergence. Just being able to just be here today. I love doing this. I love business. I am obsessed for many things. I think we talked about this a few weeks ago. We got to be obsessed about, everything in life to give it your best. If not, you're probably going to suck in a lot of things if you're not obsessed. But mindset. So I believe that dreaming and imagination, it's free. I believe that, I think it was Rex Crane that said dreaming is free, but the hustle is not, I believe that 90% is 10% is imaginating and thinking about doing things. And really 90% is taking massive action. I'm a person who is relentless, and I'm obsessed with taking massive action. And I detest. There's not a lot of things that I don't like in life, but something that I dislike, that I hate with a passion, is procrastination. It would suck to be a person that procrastinates in doing things that they love or they think they love or they're called to do, and they procrastinate to it. So the right mindset, to answer your question, in my own words, would be burning the boat, getting rid of distractions, being all in, the win or die mentality. That's how I feel mindset is to me. Yeah.
That's really powerful. So none of us are perfect. So if I'm listening to this right now and I say, hey, okay, maybe I'm procrastinating to some of the visions or dreams, or maybe I've done that 10% and I know what I'm supposed to do and I know the vision and the dream that I have, but maybe I've procrastinated. What would you say to that person?
What a great question. A lot of people that I coach, that I speak to, and I've been speaking against the why lately. Every influencer's out there. What's your why? What's your why? You know what? Your why, you can only have so many whys. You're going to run out, and then you're going to get exhausted in life, and you probably stop. you gotta align with your purpose. You see, your why is great, but your purpose is more important. Your why is the reason you do things. The purpose, your purpose in life, is the reason for your existence here on earth. So when you understand your purpose, you become unstoppable. So the first thing will be, for someone who's procrastinating, is maybe they're not aligned, they're not living in convergence, they're not aligned with the purpose of life here on earth for them. So, take some time, close your eyes, and think about the best things that you're good at. What do people call you for normally? If I was to give you $5 million right now in your bank, literally just cash in your bank right now, what things will you still be doing, and what things will you not be doing? So if you were to have $5 million in the bank and you continue doing what you're doing, then you're in the right lane. And if you wouldn't, then you should probably start looking somewhere else. Yeah.
Wow, that's really good. I love that, because I was going to ask the tangible question, and then you went right into it. And I think that's such a great question that we can ask ourselves, is if we have that dollar amount, or are we running in that lane? And so one of the things you said is be obsessed.
Yes.
So, and I've had this question of obsession, or maybe even like the word addiction has been thrown out there. Can you be like, are we designed as humans to be obsessed or addicted to something? It's just, what do we put that in? Do we put it in alcohol or women or something there? Or do we put it in something that's good, like creating wealth or impact or other dynamics there? So what are your thoughts on, like, are we designed to be obsessed or addicted to something? And is it just what we put that into? Or do you see that obsession is more of a choice?
That's great. I love what you said, and how you the contrast between addictions and obsession. So to me, an addiction is something that, number one, you shouldn't be doing. It's hurting you and it's hurting others. Obsession to me, it's more of giving it your best, giving it your heart, giving it your all. You see, if I could go back, 20 years ago, I remember working at NASCO, shipbuilding company. 18 years old, hurting my hand, being put on light duty, walking the parking lots in light duty. And I remember walking around and saying, I'm tired of sucking. I'm tired of not winning. I'm tired of not being okay. I'm tired of just being okay. I'm tired of just being good. I wasn't cold. I wasn't hot. I was being mediocre. And I made a decision. Back then. I remember the day, like if it was yesterday, walking the parking lot. And I made a decision that it was enough. I was tired of sucking. I wanted to win. I want to have a beautiful wife, a great marriage, live in a good neighborhood, have a yacht, a jet. I wanted to be prosperous. But I knew that I had to make a decision. And in that moment, I literally said, please let the real Chris Aguilar stand up. And I stood up. And I'm not Slim Shady, all right? But I really made a decision to stand up and take action. So I started developing a passion. But by the way, if you don't have a passion for something, it's probably because you're not good at it. See, we have passions, and we're good, and we enjoy what we're good at. So become the best at something. Trust me, you're going to like it. For example, I love business. For me, business is my favorite sport because I'm good at it. But when I was a kid, I sucked at it. I grew up in a family, middle-class family, divorced parents, really bad house. And it kind of like sucked. That life kind of sucked. But I acquired certain principles. And even in my book, Just Maximize, and not to go into that right now, but super quick, something that I wrote about is the fact that if I was to lose everything I have, if I was to lose everything I have, and I would get dropped off in any state of the beautiful United States, depending on which state I get dropped off in, I will become a millionaire within a year or two, depending on which state. For example, if it was, last time I checked in CoStar, for the lowest in real estate, the lowest price to pick up real estate, but the highest rents, it was still Flint, Michigan. So if I was to get dropped off in Flint, Michigan, I'll become a millionaire within 8 to 10 months. So it's the same as saying that Michael Jordan can play basketball, the same level of basketball, and in an LA stadium, San Diego stadium, New York stadium. Once you know the principles and rules and how to play the game of business, then it's easy. But again, I started not liking it because I was not good at it. I actually sucked at it. So now that I feel like I am the best in what I do in my own niche in real estate as a holistic investor, doing the BFWD strategies that I call buy and hold, fix and flip, wholesale and develop, what I also call the masters in investing. I have a passion for it. So I'm being released to go out and be obsessed with it. Sorry, it's such a long answer, but I'm so obsessed about what I do. And I really believe that it's just being all in, like your whole heart. But again, you have to start by making a decision. Like that day in that parking lot, me in light duty, and I said, that's enough. Let the real Chris Aguilar stand up. When I said that, it was a life-changing decision. Now, people ask me sometimes, Chris, what do you do when you're always talking about going 100%, 120%, 110%? What do you do when you get tired? What do you do when you don't feel like it? Well, let me tell you, I don't have those days. I always feel like it because I always want to give the best to my children, to my wife, to my church, to the beautiful United States of America, to my friends, to my community. So I don't have down days because I never want to suck. I'm in love with what I do. So I guess just expressing how I live my life, it's how I can define obsession in my own words,
Yeah, and I think, I don't want you to ever apologize for talking and giving us so much of your wisdom because that is so powerful. And you showed us what obsession can be within that, right?
Yeah.
Because you were so passionate and it lights you up. You can see
the
physical, your face physically change when you talk about it. And that's so powerful. And I love that you said, will the real Chris Aguilar please stand up?
Didn't I say Slim Shady?
Oh,
I did say that. Sorry.
It was remix, right? And so what's powerful there is that you are saying that this isn't who I am. So let me have my real, true, authentic self. Not this Chris Aguilar who was working in, what was it?
NASCO shipbuilding company.
Yeah, shipbuilding company. That's hand was hurt. That was mediocre. You're like, this isn't me. There are certain dynamics or a product of the environment that I grew up in, but I have the choice to not be that person.
Yes.
So I'm going to let my true and authentic self. And then you became obsessed with real estate, right? And so you said, okay, I may not be great at this now, but I'm going to put my hand to it and I'm going to put 10,000 hours into it.
That's right.
And then it became like the thing that lights you up.
Yes. If I may add something to it, it's okay to be obsessed with having a job. If you feel called to serving someone with excellence, then do it. My first job ever was with Gosnell Builders, top 5 builder in the United States, top employer in the state of Arizona. I went in as operations. Actually, I went in as a senior project manager within 8 months. Unfortunately, for Steve Barris, a good friend of mine, but fortunately for me, I took his job within 8 months and I became the director of operations worldwide for this big company, big organization in construction. And I really enjoyed serving Bob Gosnell. I honored that man. He's still one of my mentors and very good friends. I consider him like a father model to me. And I served them well with excellence, but there was a time where I had to leave. And I left. So if you're somewhere where you're employed somewhere and you feel like that's your calling right now, do it with excellence. It's okay.
How important do you think it is serving somebody else's vision to help facilitate your own vision? Do you see that there's a connection and a correlation?
Yeah, absolutely. I love that question. So one of the most important things in life to know is that the way is the golden rule. The way you treat others is the way you're going to be treated. I always say, if you want to make money, then sow a seed of generosity. If you want to have a good friend, sow a seed of being a good friend. Become a good friend. Become to be, to have, right?
Right.
The 3 B's. So I would say that you have to become to be as the best way to answer that. Yeah. Become to be to have.
Yeah. That's so powerful there. And so one of the things that I've seen so powerfully with you is that you have put your mind to something and you took massive action to make it happen. We talked 8 months ago about what you're building with the Chris Aguilar brand and helping to teach other people. And I think it's powerful if we want to truly live a life on purpose and to have a joyful life, which I believe joy is eternal. happiness is based off of happenings or things.
So good.
And so what you've done is you've not only, first you put your hand to the plow and you did it yourself, but then what you did is you said, hey, I'm going to help pull other people up. You had other people pulling you up.
Right.
You had people next to you. And then now you're helping other people. So how important do you think that is along the journey of our life, to have somebody that you're helping or speaking into, and to really give the gifts that we've been given?
You know, so two things. One is I love to impart, and you're right. I don't feel that somebody gave me a handout, and that's not what you said, but I do feel that people helped me out by giving me an opportunity to show my competence, to show my integrity, to show my initiative to add value to their lives.
Right.
For example, Bob Gosnell, right? He gave me an opportunity that no other director or a C-level employee in his company ever had at my age. I was 22 years old with a C-level role in his company, which is pretty amazing. So it wasn't a handout. I earned it, absolutely earned it, worked very hard for it. But I appreciate that, and I will never forget that. So now that I know certain rules, keys, and principles, I want to be able to share them with people so that they don't have to take 5 years. It took me 5 years to become a multi-millionaire or a millionaire. Once you create your first million, it literally is easier to create the second and third million. But yeah, that's a long answer, but yeah.
How important do you think mentorship or coaching is in helping people to facilitate, whether it's financial or life goal?
Oh, I love that. So there's two types of mentors and coaches. You have the people who keep you accountable, the coaches and mentors that keep you accountable, accountability mentors and coaches. And then there are the experienced mentors and coaches. So depending on where you are in life, are you a procrastinator? It's all good. I'm not upset at you. It's okay.
I love the look.
My wife goes, Chris, make sure you smile when you speak because you look like you're always upset. So
You're just obsessed.
I'm obsessed. Yeah, just obsessed. Denise, I'm just obsessed, but for you. But to answer your question is I truly believe that you got to give back in order to receive more. You see, the biggest way to excel in life, to get to your goals, is to allow other people to reach their goals within your organization, within your dream. The best way to be a leader, and I got this from Henry Ford, the best way to lead is by understanding the dreams of other people and have them align with your vision, and you align with their vision, and then you create massive greatness. You create great things. So helping other people is a must.
Yeah, and I think that's so powerful because it touches also on the point of what you said, that like some people are entrepreneurs and business owners and some people are within that organization, and both of them are powerful. It's like all of us are a part of the team, and each person has a different role and also a different role in each season of life. So wherever we are, to be all in on that. But it's also such a great question of, okay, well, what is the dream of my coworker or my employee or that member on my team? Have I spent the time to have a one-on-one or do that? Or have I even asked my friends that? Yes. Like, if you want to create relationship and buy-in and that dynamic, like, let's all help each other. Rising tides lift all ships is one of my favorite quotes.
Yes, I love that. Again, what is it?
Rising tides lift all ships.
Yes, I love that. Yeah.
Which you're definitely somebody who rises the tide around you. So
thank you, man. Thank you, Daniel.
So I'll honor you for that. And even on the procrastination point, that coaches and mentors are such a powerful dynamic of our life, and they've transformed my life, right?
Yes.
I thought for a while that I could do it alone, and that if I just read enough books or listened to enough podcasts, which in some ways those are mentors, so I wasn't really doing it alone. But once you're in the room with people and having those conversations, mentors can impart that experience and knowledge, and the coaches, like you said, and accountability can help you create the structure and the tangible tools and tactics in any area of life, right? Yes. Where it could be your morning routine so that you're in a good mind place. You could be the number of sales calls you're taking. It could be one thing that I was wanting to grow in, and a question I actually asked you at one point is, how do I grow in my relationship with God? How do I get closer there? And so there was actually an accountability group where we would say, okay, we're going to spend time in prayer and worship and devotional and Bible reading. And then we would track that, and what gets measured gets managed, so that there are tangible formulas in how to grow in those areas.
If I can add something to what you said, Daniel, about the mentorship and the coaching, is you said you've seen a lot of growth in your life because of mentors and coaches. Me too. But it wasn't like that in the beginning of my career as a business person. In the beginning, I thought that I experienced success very early. I was about 22 years old when I was running a billion dollar organization for Bob Gosnell, really. I was the operations director, the guy who made everything happen. And I would say people would approach me, coaches, friends, to be honest with you, who are professional coaches. Like, Chris, could I coach you, dude? Yep. I don't believe in coaches. I would say that. I don't believe in coaches. Why don't you believe in coaches, Chris? I said, well, no disrespect, but it has to be someone. I have mentors, but it has to be someone who has more tangible results than me. And I was completely wrong. Not until I heard a good friend of ours about 5 years ago, Natalie Contreras, Marco Contreras' wife. And Natalie said to me, Chris, coaches are there to keep you accountable and are there to teach you things. Yes, but it's okay if they have a certain experience that you don't have that they can impart into you. And so that's okay. So I gave it a try, and it was fantastic to me. It gave me so much growth. So even now, through TCA, all of our coaches that we have through TCA University, they're people who are going to keep you accountable, number one. But beyond accountability is what I like, is give you direction. You need a bank? Here's a list of banks. You need to know how to do a fix and flip? This is how you do. This is the pro forma. These are the legal documents. This is steps 1 through 7. It's how you do it. You need to develop, same thing, steps 1 through 8. Whatever it is that you want to do as far as real estate, we're real estate experts. We don't want to diversify over outside of not our comfort zone, but outside of our expertise or what we're called to do. So if somebody calls us for that we're going to get him a coach or mentor that's going to be amazing. So, just wanted to add that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's powerful. And I'd love to have you just go into a little bit of your book and then also TCA, because what we've talked about, the concept of, okay, let me help other people go through what I've been through, but also time collapse it. Like you said, it took me 5 years.
Yes.
I want to help you do it in a year.
Yes.
Let's help to make other people more fruitful, happier, more successful than ourselves. So can you talk a little bit about your book and then TCA?
Yes, thank you. Absolutely. So the book gave birth through us setting up TCA University. As we're coming up with all the curriculum for the school, a book just kind of like gave birth. And what really happened there was where I said, I want to give people something for free. Well, the book cost me money, cost me time, which is more than money. 4.5 months, me in the cave just writing all day, all night, literally, relentlessly. Just knowing how obsessive I am with things, you could imagine. I literally no social life for a minute. A couple of months, it was all family and church, serving God, what I do, and my businesses, my clients, and the book. That's what it was for 4.5 months. But literally, the book is a gift back to society, a gift back to the people, mainly here in our states, in the United States. And it's also going to be it's being translated to go to Mexico. So to Mexico as well. It's where my parents come from. I am a Mexican-American dude, so I want to give back to Mexico as well. But this book is a gift from me on my mind in a book. If someone will grab that book and read it and literally learn everything the book has, and if they don't understand the concept, just reach out to me through social media and I'll explain it. But if they would take it serious, they could become a millionaire in a year or two, depending what state they live in and their age and the time available to invest in investing.
Wow, that's powerful.
So that's just maximize. That's what the book is.
And so you have this book that you, had a singularity of focus and said, this is something that I'm going to do. And like you said, you locked yourself in a cave and, of course, still did what you do as a father and a husband and family, and then also serving God in time there. But I want to point out that Chris had a vision and a mission and said that this is something that I need to do. So he had a singularity of focus on doing that and getting that done. And you made it happen. Some people will write books for 2, 3, 4, 5 years. You're like, no, I'm going to do it in 4 months. And I'm going to make that happen. So then somebody reads the book and they said, okay, you give the tangible tools on really how to create financial freedom. And I think financial freedom is a key dynamic to living the life that we are supposed to live, because then you get to do the things that make you happy. And actually business becomes one of those when you become great at it. which you help people to do. And then when you say TCA, that's the Chris Aguilar school
brand, huh?
And then so the academy, what is that? What if I were to go into that and I said, okay, Chris, I'm all in. I'm not a procrastinator, or maybe I do sometimes, but I know you have coaches for that, so we can help with that dynamic. What does that look like to go through that program?
So through TCA, we have 5 classes. We have the prerequisites of doing business and real estate, buy and hold, fix and flip, wholesale, and the masters, which is a developing course.
Yeah.
But the way that looks is, if you were interested in learning about our program, you can go to www.thechrisaguilar.com or any of our social media platforms that we're probably going to share at the end of this podcast. And we'll have a tree of links there, and connect with us somehow. Send us a message. We'll send you a link with certain questions so that, one of our counselors could look at it, assess it, and call you back and let you know where we think you fit, as far as the education, that we have to offer. And, our goal is to build people, to build leaders that can experiment financial freedom the way we've experienced it. So that's really TCA University, what it's doing. I feel that TCA is also a brand. TCA is also a brand that I'm doing because I've been called to have massive influence nationwide. You see, we do this thing, and we both go to the same church, and we understand what the vision card is. So in the beginning of every year, we have Vision Sunday, and we get a card, and we write down 9 things or 10 things that you consider impossible, like God goals, So we're in the ministry team in our church, and I remember that Sunday, we prayed for a lot of people for their vision cards. As they wrote down their visions at church, we prayed for them, and we didn't get prayed for. So fast forward 2 weeks, Denise and I still hadn't filled it out. And it's something that we do religiously every year because we believe in it. We've seen so many God stories out of that. So all this to say, about 2 weeks after, I was driving somewhere in the city. I saw McDonald's and I had my laptop with me. Literally stopped by, exit the freeway, went into Mickey D's, called my wife Denise, and I said, "Hey, where are you at? We need to do a vision card." Literally, she drove to where I was, met at McDonald's. We wrote our vision card, 9 things. We held hands. We started praying. And as we started praying, Daniel, literally about 30 seconds, a minute into it, probably, I saw a black screen with white letters, and it said, "Massive influence nationwide."
Wow.
And as I saw that, I kind of stopped praying. And I'm like, Denise is like, "What's up?" I'm like, "Well, hold on. I think God is trying to show us that we forgot to put something down." So we went back to our card, we stopped praying, and we wrote 0.05 influence nationwide, and we know what's going to happen. We already seen it. I mean, we've been doing this for 3.5 weeks. In TCA so far, we have a crew of 18 people. So it's my team that's amazing. I'm kind of like just a guy who gets to kind of like lead the team.
Yeah.
But we, in 3.5 weeks, we've had hundreds of people reach out to us that they need help, and we help some for free already. Some that want to join our school. We had a video that went viral last week, and it's still going viral. I think we're at 2.3 million, views. About 300 people had reached out through that video. 1,400 people have commented on it. In social media, that's not easy to do. Just think about it. How much would it cost TCA to go out and get in front for a minute and 10 seconds, get in front of 2.3 million people? How much would it cost to do that kind of ad in social media or on television? You're talking about probably $125,000. Well, we did that literally at no cost with a simple video. But we did that because we have an amazing team, that each person in our team is the best, I think, at least that I know, in their sphere and what they do for our company, and we operate with excellence. So, the things that we're able to create are because we're empowered. We have the power of God in our life. So the Word of God says that we are the righteousness of God on earth, and I truly believe that. And if you're living in convergence, which means align with the purpose and designed that the best architect in the world did in your life, in my life, purposefully, if you're living in that convergence, you're going to be able to experience freedom, financial freedom, experience a lot of success, and reach the goals that you put in your mind. And that's kind of like the goal we have right now. And I already, in 3.5 weeks, I already see it unraveling in my life.
Yeah, that's so powerful. And I love that you have, it's not, when you say massive impact, it's massive impact with a purpose. Because you know you have a focus of the purpose of what you're wanting to do is help empower people, give them the mindset, give them the tools so they can have financial freedom, so they can create the life that they want to live. And it's such a powerful dynamic in that. And so you've touched a little bit about some of your real estate experience and knowledge, but why would I want to go through your organization and learn from your expertise rather than somebody else's given what you've been through? So I'd love to hear some of your experience, and then why would we want to? There are other real estate courses and dynamics out there.
Hey, you learning is something about a feeling. You have to feel that the person you're going to be learning from is someone you want to follow. Look at the fruit in their life. Look at the fruit of my life, I would say. But through social media, you probably can't, But what I would say, I guess professionally, is we did it backwards. Most real estate educators, including people like, I don't want to do no name dropping, but people out there that are very famous and lots more followers than me in social media, and they're probably wealthier than me by now. But they've done it this way. They got into the educational sphere without money, with a lot of theory. They built wealth through education. They invested in real estate, and they continue to do it. You see, we, on the other hand, we went out and we built the companies, the great organizations like AH Construction, Bigger Housing, Rock Solid, HouseMax, and all these great companies that are multi-million-dollar companies. Then we come back to education as a way, because it's part of our purpose, because we're aligned with what we're being called to do in this point in time. So I'm not trying to sell myself, but I just say, hey, one of our competitive advantages is that we have all the tools, technology, teams, spreadsheets, everything you can think of to go out and do it and build it, because we're doing it. Like we're in the market, So I guess that's the answer.
Yeah, and I think that's a great answer. And the analogy that I would give is some people in the market, it'd be like going to a trainer who's lifting and learning all of the stuff at the same time that you are, because they're doing it based off of theory, not experience, versus going with somebody who has been in the industry, who has gone through, already has the body, already has that dynamic that you want, and now they're reaching down to help you. Right? It's like that of some people pull us up to their level and help us in life. Some people are next to us, and now you're reaching down and say, hey, come up to my level. Yes. Let me help you get there. And so a question that I've been thinking about is the dynamic of life's on a spectrum, right? So we go back and forth between different dynamics, and you have such a powerful ability to execute and take action. And after hearing you speak the last time, I said, okay, I'm not doing enough. But there's also been certain points of my life where I've got burnt out because I don't spend enough time recharging, or that dynamic. So how do you, and I don't even really like the word balance, but we'll use it because how do you find the balance or ability to continue to operate at your highest self, which even it's biblical that there is a day of rest. So how do you manage that back and forth spectrum with obsession and extreme, just maximize action with still making sure that your cup is full? I agree with you. The word balance is kind of like, it tickles my brain a little too much, but we have to use it to be able to express the question. And the reason I don't like the word balance, I'll start with that, is because if coming from a person like you, Daniel, with your success, or like myself, or any educator or any leader, could be misleading. It could be where people find balance in a way where it's not right. You see, I recharge with what I like. I'm a rewards guy. When I went to SDSU, I learned in one of my leadership classes about
you're either a leader that walks on fear or a leader that walks on, an award system. And I lead my life myself in the same way, where I always have gifts or things that I want to do with my family, friends. For example, we're going to go to Pebble Beach in about 2 months with a great group of friends and hang out for 3 days at the lodge and spending all this money and like no cap in it, and just refresh, recharge, because I like golf, Or I just came back from Nueva Vallarta and had the most epic vacation I ever had, state of the art, a loft that we rented for our family, yacht, went to private islands, private coast next to Colima, and literally rented a whole island for ourselves for a couple hours with my children, with the yacht in the background, waiting for the sunset. I mean, these are things that recharge me, things that I want. I live in a beautiful home. Every day, Daniel, that I punch the code to get into my estate property that I own. By the way, that it's completely paid off, that I didn't pay for it. My investments paid for it. But that home, I designed it. I love shrubs and trees and landscape. And every time I hit the code, I purpose it. My wife always tells me, why aren't you hit the control? I just like the feeling of hitting the code. It makes me feel good. Like I'm walking into an estate. It is a state, but like something grand. Then I look at the gates opening with all the luminity that we installed and the beautiful design, the palms, the tipuana trees, and how they make an arc in my driveway as I drive up. Everything in my life makes me feel good. When I drive my car, the motor was designed by a NASCAR mechanic because that's the way I want it. And I go to Baja in a race, and I'm not trying to say that I beat people all the time, but I've never been beating in a race in my truck, straight up. So so it's like living a life where you do things obsessively. You learn to love everything you do. I love hanging out and just talking to you right now. I'm really enjoying this. I'm having a freaking fantastic time. I'm getting recharged right now.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm not answering your question, man, but doing things that you love, that you enjoy, falling in love. I have to say this. Becoming great in everything you do, becoming the best at everything you do, at least trying. You see, in my mind, I'm the best at what I do. I mean, I might sound like Muhammad Ali, when he was fighting, was it George? Who was it? George Foreman. But I truly feel that way. And if you don't champion yourself, Daniel, who's going to champion you?
Right.
So I truly feel I'm the best, and because I'm the best in what I do, I get recharged with what I do because that's what I love doing. I love hanging out with my kids. I love hanging out with you right now. I love hanging out in my office, looking for investments, teaching. It recharges me. So like I started in the beginning, I don't need to go at 90, 60%. No, live your life at freaking 140%. And when you get tired, get up and go 160%. Just go all out. You see, God, who created the world and everything in it, the whole galaxy, he worked relentlessly, nonstop for 6 days. Then on the 7th day, he rested. Hey, I rest on Sundays. I go to church. That's cool. And I'm not saying I do it because God did it. Yeah, straight up. It's just that I just feel like it's the right thing to do. I want to serve God with everything I got, and I get to serve him on Sundays. Sometimes during the week, when it's needed. I did it last night. So, I guess that's the answer to my question.
And I think it's powerful because what you talked about there is you said that it was having rewards, right? For the things that we do. And the other thing that I see is that you saw a life that you wanted to have. You went out and created that life. So now the things that you do are all things that make you happy.
Yes. And Daniel, can I interrupt you?
Yeah.
Because on Genesis 1:7, on Genesis 2:1, that's where it says that God looked at everything he did, that it was great, and he rested. Inspired by that, I came out with a new quote. Can I share it with you? And it goes like this. I hope I remember it this time. The last time we spoke, I couldn't remember it. And it says, success is a product of obsession glued to relentless, massive action. And I get inspired by God, of course, reading my word, doing Bible studies, talking like this, and I come up with quotes. I think I have like 120 quotes that I came up with in the last like 6 months. It's pretty crazy. But I've been thinking lately, So, yeah. Which
is also, and what you've done there is even on like that seventh day, right? That dynamic is, but you've created a life to say, and that's just something that I'm proud of. It's like you looking over your estate to say, okay, I had, there was a moment when I was in that parking lot and I wasn't living the life that I wanted to live, but then I said, I'm going to go out and create that. I took massive action.
With a real Slim Shady stand up.
Yeah, with a real Slim Shady, Chris Aguilar
stand up. That's my new line, yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
And so that's so powerful there. And then reward yourself and do the things that you love to do with the people that you love to do them with. Like when you're going to go to Pebble Beach.
Yeah.
And that dynamic. So, Chris, one of the things that I always like to finish with is a question that actually is the reason that we're sitting here today. And it was asked on a podcast, and somebody said, what is the one piece of advice that you would give your 30-year-old self? And when I heard a podcast and someone answered this question, it's actually what led me to Awaken Church, which brought me back to my faith, which brought me back to really being in alignment with the purpose that God has for my life, which has led to joy for me. Wow. And I think for anyone else who decides to say yes to that relationship. So I'd love to hear your advice. So what would be your one piece of advice to your 30-year-old self or your younger self?
To myself, it will be, could I be a little vulnerable here?
Yeah.
Or a little transparent?
Of course.
I would say two things. Can I say two things?
Yeah, of course.
To young Chris,
yeah,
I would say, good job. I'm happy you didn't sleep much. Number one, because it's not easy to do that. But then two, I'll congratulate myself first. It's kind of like how I am. I like the sandwich approach of myself. Yeah. So then I would say to myself, you should have done more. You should have done more. Yep.
Wow. That's powerful. That's an answer that we haven't had before. And I love that you continue to elevate yourself and push yourself to new levels, no matter whether it's in conversation right now with where you're going for the future, or even looking at your previous self within that. And we got a glimpse of that right there. Thank you,
Daniel. 6 years ago, my whole world was in Spanish. And truly I was intentional about changing my life to English. The church I go to, the friends I have, and just living my life like that. And just being here with you right now and just being able to have this conversation is such a joy. But it wasn't easy to do it. You got to put the work in, So today I really enjoyed being here with you, man. Thank you.
Thank you. We really appreciate you coming on the podcast, and really I also want to honor you and thank you for the person that you are, because you inspire so many people, not only with your words, but with your actions and even small different dynamics there. And thank know you. That your words don't end with you. Like I've spoken the things that you've taught or spoken to me to other people. So there's such a powerful trickle down of what's happening with the massive influence that you're continuing to create. So Chris, where can we follow you? How can we interact with you? I know my viewers and listeners would love to hear from you.
One of the best ways to follow me is we're probably going to have a link, and follow me on Instagram, TikTok, any social media platform of your preference. That's probably what I would say. Communicate with me via Instagram. Instagram is what's happening right now for everyone, at least in my world. So if you want to learn about something, send me a direct message or comment in one of my videos with what you want to learn. I'll probably do a video and speak life into what you want to learn. But I cannot stop this talk or this podcast. I don't want to leave without saying what we spoke about last, and connect with the local church. If you don't have a church that you go to Awaken Church. If you live here in California or Boise, Idaho, soon to be Mexico, Australia, Italy, here we come.
Salt Lake City,
yes. But connect with the church, connect with God, and serve Him. If you serve Him, you'll be surprised of what you're going to do in the marketplace. But was it Billy Graham that said the next movement in the kingdom, the next revival is going to come through the entrepreneurs, through the pathfinders? Yeah.
So powerful.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate you, man.